1, 2. It is Monday, September 16th, AD 2024. At long last, Hake is back. Alpha back. Nice. Thank you guys for joining me. I've been out since last Tuesday. I wasn't even here for September 11th, nor the 12th, nor Friday the 13th. But I am back. Thank you guys for the well wishes. I saw some of your coffees coming in and super chats. Lin Yen Chin, I got to catch up on yours. And Greggatron, thank you. What's up, YouTube? I should be live on Rumble and other platforms. We're going to have, they went after Trump, our greatest president. I'm not seeing the audio coming in on Studio 8. Wonder what I can do here. Even though it supposedly is playing. Yeah, supposedly it is playing. I will get to your calls as well, guys. 1-888-775-3773. Yeah, I'm wearing a world's greatest grandpa. I figured t-shirt. I won't tell you where I got it, which is telling you where I got it. But, oh, there we go. Nice. I know, it's coming out of my computer. Terrible. It's funny. Because Hake is sicker than an old person. Old people, when I'm old, I better not get sick as frequently as I get sick as a young person, right? Terrible. Not good. They went after Trump, or somebody went after Trump, allegedly. This guy, who was a dumb, lame, sort of liberal. He voted for Trump in 2016, according to a screenshot that I saw purportedly of from his tweet at our greatest president, Trump, in 2020, like October or July or something of 2020. This guy's like, Trump, I voted for you in 2061 or something like that. I think he meant 2016. And you're no good now. You disappointed me. And then he went to Ukraine, according to reports. I saw footage of him being interviewed, this guy who went after Trump, talking like, we need to all get along. We're all in this together. We're all humans. We need to treat each other like humans. So why would you, if that's the case, if that's true, why would you allegedly try to go after our greatest president, Trump, with a gun? Well, he did try to go after the Russians with a gun. What a psycho. So let me try this. Boom, 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 boom. And see if it's coming in here. Still nothing. Oh, yeah, it's coming in. Now it is good. American Anchor Baby, working his magic. Making it happen. Shout out to him. By the way, there's going to be a Punchy TV episode today, guys, here on in the Jesse Lee Peterson studio. We are the JLP network. I'm part of it, if you don't already know. Nice. And, but anyway, first we're going to have a fun, loosey-goosey, The Hake Report show, everybody. TheHakeReport.com. And I do see your super chats coming in. And I do see your calls coming in. And what's up, D Live, Redheaded Stepchildren crew? Appreciate you. But let me pull this down. But anyway, guys, let's just get right on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. la la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. I'm trying to breathe through my nose and not be a weenie. Shout out to Lin Yen Chin, our greatest, or a top two anyway, Streamlabs super chatters. Top two Streamlabs super chatters, Lin Yen Chin. Shout out to you, man. Shout out. He always advocates people breathe through their nose. Even a mouth breather that, like me, can pretend to be a nose breather and be human. It's good. And Alex in California, who got the China virus many times because of his line of work, he has to deal with a whole lot of people. And some of these people don't take care of themselves, and they don't have the decency not to go out when they're sick. So they spread their germs on... I almost want to call him poor Alex, but he's not poor. He is rich in spirit, which is cool. Shout out to him. But he said he got real sick, and he's like, let me not be a weenie, and don't say that word, kids, if your parents don't like it. And don't say it too much, regardless. But it helps you clear your sinuses, perhaps, to breathe through it, your nose. We're looking at the beautiful Mount Wilson Trail. Flowers, wildflowers, Los Angeles County, San Gabriel Valley, greenery, shrubs, trees, houses, suburbs, hills, foothills, and the mountains, San Gabriel Mountains, and the hiking trail. Very nice. Well, thank you guys again for coming back. Hake has been out for too long, in my opinion. And Kevin Howe is like, what kind of man takes off for 3 days? Takes off 3 days. I was out for 3 days last week. It was terrible. Joel Friday is like, when are you going to come back? Well, we're going to have a Punchy TV taping, so that's going to be cool. I'd like to get to a call or two, guys, before we get into some of the stuff that I would like to talk about, including Trump, the debate, the second assassination attempt, climate change, space, which is so real. Jesse, a first-time caller in Los Angeles, California. Oh, let me unmute you, Jesse. What's up, Jesse? Thank you for calling and holding there, man. Are you there?
Hey, who's the person that plays drums and plays bass and plays guitar in the opening of the Punchy TV?
The Punchy TV? Who's the person who plays the drums and guitar in the opening of Punchy TV?
Yeah.
I don't know. Come close to your phone so you come in loud and clear. You're coming in just a touch quiet for my taste. I don't know the answer to that. We will have to consult with Joel Friday, who may have a better idea than I have, because I have no idea. Is that all you wanted to know, Jesse? Whoa.
Is Jesse Lee Peterson the one that plays bass?
He might be. Was that a chirp of a ceiling bird that I heard just now? Or was it?
Is that a South Park? You know that's a South Park reference.
Oh no, I didn't know that. I never watched South Park. At least not much of it. I do respect it because Christian men, at least one Christian man I've heard, really liked it. But no, I don't know. I didn't know that. See, is that a smoke detector? Stay close to your phone, Jesse. What the heck? What the hake?
I know Ben Shapiro watches some of it.
Dude, what is going on with your phone? Nice, right on. Oh, he watches South Park. Good for him. See, based Ben Shapiro. I saw him yesterday reporting about the attack on Trump, or the second alleged attempt assassination on our greatest president. And he made some interesting points. Whoa! See, this chirp is louder than you are. That's crazy. Are you trolling me, Jesse, in Los Angeles? I think he's gone. Thank you for your call, man. Call me again. A fun call. Take care. Hopefully I don't get clicked. I'm giving him. Oh, he got me with a click. He is trolling me. Nah, he might not have been. I'm learning, guys. I'm learning. I've only been at this 8 years. Anthony is not a first timer necessarily. Anthony in California is on the line here. Anthony, thank you for calling and holding there, man. What's up?
Hey, how are you doing, sir?
Doing well, thank you.
Awesome. Sorry. So can you hear me better?
I can. That's a lot better. Thanks.
Cool. So I love your guys' show. I called in many times. I was curious. I know it doesn't pertain to you, but why does Jesse have on his show and platform?
Now you're breaking up. Why does Jesse have what on his show? Oh man,
Hello?
Yeah, you're coming in. Your connection is pretty bad, Anthony. I'm going to put you on hold, and we'll check on you. Hang on, sir. I think it was asking why JLP has Satanists or something on his show. I don't know if he said that, but I personally have invited Satanists on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. Multiple. One of them got real vulgar and cussed up a storm, just angry. And then he had a second and third interview with Jesse, and he was great, very friendly. A Fox News fan, a conservative Satanist, atheist. Brian Werner. Look it up on the Jesse Lee Peterson, channel, as well as The Fallen State. Check it out. But it's good to interview different people from all across the world, mentally speaking, because people are mental. That's UK for crazy. That's English for crazy. Anyway, hope that helps. Prince in Texas, Tejas. Prince, thank you for calling and holding there. How you doing? Are you there?
Well, I'll get to that, Thanks for taking my call. And I remember that Satanist guy.
You remember Brian Werner?
He had the long hair, and he was old, too.
Yeah, he's not a young guy. He's like my age, roughly. Plus or minus. Yeah. Nice guy, though. Well,
Trump?
Nice at times. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He still keeps in touch with me. Trump should go missing on purpose, like just go into hiding?
And yes, and return right before Election Day.
Uh-huh.
And but I kind of just blew it just now by telling you.
Oh, I know, huh? Because if he is listening to the Hake report and he hears your suggestion, then he may just do that, and people might trace it back to the Hake report, competitor to other major shows. Why do you say that, though?
Something has it has affected me. Okay, it has affected me. Like the first time,
I can hear it in your voice, really.
Then the second time.
You're talking about the attempts on his life.
Right, like God is using his life for something. And you know what? I don't think that, maybe God wants him to win 2024. I don't care.
Yeah.
As long as he can come back 2028.
I heard a great... Oh, I don't know. He might be a bit old for 2028. People are saying he's too old now, which I don't agree with at all. But 2028 is a bit old. I think this is his last best chance. And America's last best chance, at least at this time, But I
Well,
heard
the
something.
guy's never done any kind of drugs or alcohol, so go ahead.
That's true. That's true. He's been clean living, straight edge. Maybe not exactly straight edge, but he somebody on, I guess it was maybe American Anchor Baby or Joel Friday TV or Jesse Lee Peterson, somebody on this network, some caller said that he doesn't even really care. He doesn't think it matters that much whether Trump wins or not. I think it was American Anchor Baby. And the reason that it doesn't matter is because he's already opened the curtain and exposed the division. He like Christ, he came to divide good from truth from lies, good from evil. And a lot of people are on his side, and they're on the side of evil still. Peter, remember Peter in the Bible? Cut off a guy's ear, and Jesus wasn't for that. So he has changed the culture and opened a lot of eyes in a lot of different ways, in a lot of different senses.
Yeah, I'm not changed, but I've been affected where, I'm just starting to see like a better way forward. Like for the first time, like
with yourself personally or with America?
I don't know, but just like for my relationship with God, really.
Oh, okay. So spiritually.
I suppose so. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like maybe what we could have is like more of a back to a Puritan country. I think that would be close to what I want to do with God.
Okay. Right on, man. It's
Just
interesting.
Green fields, green pastures,
Yeah. Nice.
But Trump should go into hiding, so like go missing, and people would be just so stressed out, so like pushed over the borderline, like Madonna says.
Great song.
Thank you, Hake.
Thank you.
That's about it.
Appreciate it, Princeton, Texas. Take care, man. Back to Anthony, who is here in California. Anthony, thank you for getting your phone in order, I hope. How you doing?
Doing well, Hake. Can you hear me better now, man?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool. No, I was just curious why he platforms
JLP, that
those
is.
kind of guys. Yeah. And I know you,
Why he
said
platforms
something
who?
it's just Satanists in general.
What do you mean by platform?
Like, gives attention, gives them, an opportunity for people to, get interested about them. And also he has discussions in a way with them where he doesn't really acknowledge the slippery slope, it's like think about it like this. Let's just say, like for the sake of language, let's just say, they have guys like that, Brian
Warner.
Brian Warner. Let's just say they have fake Satanist churches. Is that what you would? How would you label his kind of church from like an actual, Satanist church where they like worship Satan? What would you say? He has a fake Satanist church, or what's the word for that?
I don't even know, because it is satanic, regardless of whether they acknowledge Satan or not. Brian Warner was high priest at one point of the Satanic Temple, but then he realized that they're a bunch of liberal SJWs, and he wasn't about that. And so Brian Warner, a former guest on the JLP show in the Fallen State multiple times between the two, he left that, and I don't know if he has any quote-unquote church or whatever, but a lot of the so-called Satanists are atheists like that, and some are very liberal. Some of them are outright social justice warrior, SJW, pro-LGBT, anti-racist, all that evil stuff. A lot of them, probably all of them maybe, very pro-abortion, killing the babies.
Right.
Now, what do you mean by slippery slope?
I mean, poke holes in this if you think it's weak. But let's just say I'm a fake Christian in the sense that he's a fake Satanist, and I go and I open up a fake church. Obviously, when I open up the church, there's
Speak up for me, man. So you come in through loud and clear. You seem to be talking a little under your breath, and it's not all coming across loud and clear.
Dang it, man. I'm sorry.
No, just speak up louder. Yeah.
Okay. So let's just say I'm a fake Christian and I open up a fake church, right?
Meaning you knowingly don't really believe in Christianity, but you open up okay.
Exactly. Obviously, people that go there, they see the church, they'll be like, "Oh wow, church! I'm a Christian. I'm going to go to church," right? And they'll go. Over time, what's going to happen is maybe for the sake of congregation, the church will eventually become like a real church. We're going to start doing, Bible studies and all these things that the congregation wants to do. Maybe we'll throw in the Eucharist eventually or something like that. You know what I mean? But the idea is...
Because some people will have real intentions.
Exactly, because they don't know that you're... they see it's called a church, right? Let's just say Church of God, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Now, on the other hand, you have this guy, and he's basically doing the same thing. It's called Church of Satan, whatever they want to call it, right?
Yeah.
You're obviously going to have real Satanists going to that church, and eventually, you don't know what they do, when they're done with church or whatever. But does that make sense? Where I'm coming from? It's that, in a sense, I think that's a slippery slope in the deception of like the atheist Satanist movement.
Oh.
It's like on the surface, we're just atheists, liberals, pro-life, pro-choice.
Right.
And over time, though, you're gonna have people that do blood rituals on their own time and stuff like that.
But abortion is sort of a blood ritual, so
100%.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter whether they're like, I don't see much difference between an atheist and somebody who really believes in doing rites to the devil. Like there's no real difference.
I'm with you on that, Hake. So why does just platform these kind of guys? Like, what's the point of giving them attention and not necessarily showing the slippery slope or the type of deception? He just kind of asks them like questions like he would a priest, and he's not like he's kind of, I kind of get the sense that he's deceiving his audience that don't know better, that think, oh well, you could be an atheist Satanist and not believe in the devil, which I think is the slippery slope. I think Jesse's in a position where he could point out, you're not far from the blood ritual aspect. You're right at the door. You know what I mean?
But didn't you just agree with me that they're both evil? Like there is no slippery slope. They're both hell.
But they're
both gone.
I agree, but one is deceptive and one is not, right?
No, they're both deceptive. They're both worshiping the father of lies, which is Satan.
Yeah, but they say they're atheists.
Right. Is atheism better than Satanism? Or not as bad as Satanism?
I can't say that, but I know that there's atheists probably won't do witchcraft and things like that, right?
I don't know.
They won't knowingly practice witchcraft.
Is witchcraft better? Is witchcraft worse than just normal atheists who don't get into the witch stuff? Is it more dangerous?
I think that you put your finger on it. Yeah, I think it's more dangerous. You're more exposed to evil, and you're inviting it inside of you. Whereas the atheist doesn't necessarily believe, there's evil, but they'll be deceived in going down that path, like the way abortion is, a type of deception of a blood ritual.
Well, I wouldn't advocate for people to get into either atheism or getting into like magic and stuff like that, because they're both evil. They're both deceptive. They're both satanic. And
100%.
And it's the same thing with fake Christians. Fake Christians don't tend to lead people to God. They too are deceivers and Satan worshipers, you know? Like, and when I say fake Christians, I don't mean just people who knowingly don't really believe in God, but people who think they believe in God. So so Jesse's for exposing and finding out about all of it. He's not promoting any of it. He's not really promoting any of his guests. He's allowing them to promote their stuff on his show. But platforming is sort of a liberal word, you know? It's sort of a mama word. Where
I know what you mean.
Don't platform fascists. No platform for fascists. They don't want Trump to be on social media. They don't want Christians to be able to say this or that. So that platform word is sort of like a mama. I don't want other people to find out about this. They may agree with it. But other people agreeing with it is not Jesse's responsibility, because he's giving them good interviews. He's asking them great questions. And he's, I don't know if you agree with me, but Jesse is a light in a dark place, like YouTube, very dark place. But he's a light there.
I agree.
Yeah. So that's why he interviews all kinds of people. Like Jesus is documented as having talked with prostitutes and tax collectors who were very evil people, and even Pharisees. And he talked to them, and that's documented, that's platformed, if you will, in the Bible. But
100%.
And some people agree with those Pharisees. Some people agree with the Pharisees that Jesus was calling himself God and all kinds of stuff like that, which wasn't what Jesus necessarily was doing. But they agree with the intellectuals and the blind people, the deceived. There's always going to be people who are deceived, but that doesn't mean you close yourself off and not interact with them, if that helps.
I agree 100%. What I was, no, I see what you're saying, Hake, and I mean it's my point is a bit more nuanced. I think the issue I have is Jesse is a light, and it's pretty obvious because I mean, nothing against him. I love the guy. I love you guys, but he's not the sharpest tool in the shed, you know.
How not?
But he gets the word, but you could tell there's something about him. You know, he is the light because how could the sharpest tool in the shed, you know, poke so many holes? And you know, he's not the sharpest tool, but he could poke holes in anything. You know, it's
right?
Pretty,
even evolution. And I'm indifferent about the evolution question, but but it's funny.
Interesting.
When I was producer, I would try to get. He likes to talk with people with whom he disagrees, because people with whom he agrees, that's boring. It's just we agree, and what is there to talk about? But when you talk with people who disagree, you have something to talk about, and you can discuss and maybe open some eyes.
I get where you're coming from. You know, I'll watch the interview again. You know, I just where I was coming from, Hake, and I get what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah,
solid. But it's if an audience, where I'm coming from is if someone didn't know any better, they wouldn't be able to distinguish an atheist Satanist from a real, an actual,
Have you met an actual Satanist, or have you been aware of them?
Yeah.
Because most of the Satanists are actually just atheists who just use this stuff to be shocking and be in your face to Christians.
I know, man. I know, but
which is maybe more evil than the ones who actually really believe in Satan.
You're saying they're more evil?
Perhaps.
Well, I think they're just in the process of being deceived. You know, they're doing all the rote work. You know, they're doing all the movement, and before long, you know, they'll make the connection to the spirit. They'll go beyond the physical movement, and they'll make the connection to, you know, the
You
real
seem
evil
you
acts.
seem to believe in the devil like that. You seem to believe in Satanism as though it's this scary thing that's not, as though all people aren't possessed and as though all people aren't truly evil.
Well,
You think that there's like a special evil? You said that
I think
the
there's an intentional type.
intentional type of evil.
Yeah, I think there's people that they do blood rituals, and I'm not advocating this, but I'm telling you what I've experienced, what I've seen people do.
What's the difference between a blood ritual and an abortion?
That's
Which one is worse?
Well, if we want to be nuanced, I could say an abortion that's risking the life of a mother, and that's probably not as bad as someone who could have a child, be healthy, have a healthy child, but purposely sacrifices it to Satan.
But that's what abortion is.
So you think that the intention of someone who wants to have a child but needs an abortion to save her life is to sacrifice their child to Satan? Do you think that's their intention?
Not if it's to save their life, the
Right,
life of the
so
mother.
it's not the same.
But most abortions are not anywhere near to save their life.
You're right.
So then why are you going to that? Abortion is selfish.
Yeah,
99.9% of the time, I would guess.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure on the stats. But
which is devil worship, selfish. Same thing.
Yeah, but they don't know they're doing it.
Yeah, they do. They know they're being selfish. That's why they get mad at you when you point it out.
They don't know they're sacrificing it to Satan, though.
So
they
what?
think they're just on their baby.
How does that make it better?
Because intention matters.
No, it doesn't. Selfish intention is satanic. So God's not going to send you to just as much hell or whatever because you didn't mean it, because you didn't purposely mean it to be to Satan? You're not in hell already?
I'm not going to speak on behalf.
Isn't somebody? That's what I mean. Is you believe in Satan, or when I say you believe in Satan, it's like you have this extra fear of intentionally worshiping in your mind this devil versus normal everyday people who are every bit as evil sinners worshiping the devil.
Yeah, it's
whether they realize it or not.
Yeah, it's because I've had life experience. I've gone down certain paths.
Oh, yeah, but
but I've come away from that, and I've kind of, so I kind of, it's. I get what you're saying, but there's, I get what you're saying, Hake.
And you weren't deceived by this guy, were you? Or were you tempted by this guy to go back into it?
Oh no, not at all. But I was thinking if me 10 years ago, if I was watching this, I didn't believe, I didn't know any better. I would watch a show like that, and I wouldn't see the danger of being a satanic atheist.
How do you know?
Because Jesse didn't really highlight any.
So you thought you thought the Satanist was more intriguing than Jesse? In your imagination, you think that you would find the Satanist more intriguing and appealing than Jesse?
I don't know how that relates to what I said, but
well, you said that you might go down that path.
No, I said if I didn't know any better, I wouldn't know the difference.
But what's happening is you're living in your imagination, thinking that other people might fall for it because you already fell for it, but you didn't fall for it because of seeing Jesse. So you're imagining other people might fall for it because of seeing Jesse talk to somebody.
So you think it's possible someone would watch that and not fall for it?
A whole lot of people watched it and didn't fall for Satan. They're falling for Satan every day in their minds without any influence by that Satanist.
Right.
You're playing mama with other people, like imagining that other people are going to be influenced, is what I'm saying. Like the liberal word of platforming, you know? Like the communists don't want people to listen to Ben Shapiro or Jesse Lee Peterson or Hake or Trump because Trump changes people's minds. And so you're scared that other people might...
No, I think you're in your imagination.
No, you're in your imagination.
Okay.
Oh, wait, how am I in my imagination? About Trump?
No, you're just... you're in your imagination about what other people would deduce in the same way that I'm in my imagination about what other people would deduce.
What? No, I'm saying that's exactly what the liberals say. That they say that Ben Shapiro radicalizes people. He's a gateway to the white supremacists. That's what they say. I'm not in my imagination about that.
But that's delusional, though. I mean, of course.
No, it's not.
Come on.
No, it's not. A whole lot of people used to be liberals, and then they listened to Ben Shapiro, and then they listened to Jordan Peterson, and then they started listening to the radical whites, and then they went full-blown pro-white.
So,
a lot of people used to be libertarian or Democrat, and then they went full-blown pro-white. So people do fall for that. I've talked to them, yes. You know who the crying Nazi is? There's a guy called the crying Nazi. He was smeared as the crying Nazi. Christopher Cantwell. I talked to him on my show years ago before this stuff, or right after it happened, after the Charlottesville thing. He was a normal libertarian. And then he got radicalized. He got radicalized by the media talking about Trayvon Martin as though he was this innocent child.
Oh.
And so he went from libertarian to that. And a lot of people were like, I talked to one guy who was pro-Hillary Clinton. He voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016. And now he's calling, a few months ago, he called American Anchor Baby's Jewish guest, who came to church, the oppressor. So he's like this anti-Jew, pro-white guy. So there's people are going to go down their evil path regardless of JLP. You don't have to play mama with other people's things.
Yeah,
you know? You're like the Pharisees who are like, Jesus talked to the sinners.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
And because you came out of it, but you still have like a fear of it, I think. A fear of it, and I don't think that you really acknowledge how evil normie evil is. You know what I mean by normie evil?
I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah. That's a slippery slope. Yeah. No, I think I get your point.
It's like Jesus called the people who were listening to him. How many of you, when your son asks for a piece of bread, would give him a rock? Or ask him for a stick, you give him a snake? You being evil, he called them evil, know how to give good gifts to your children. How much more does your Father know how to give good gifts to you? He called the people who were listening to him evil. So evil is more than just... And those people that weren't openly worshiping Satan or knowingly worshiping Satan, you know? Right. So evil is far deeper than just intentionally sacrificing a baby to the devil.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree, Hake. I mean, you highlight a good point about my mama perspective. I'll tell you. So, and I am in my imagination.
You have a great voice for an ex-Satanist. Well, I don't know if you were a Satanist. I'm just saying.
No, I just no.
You went down a certain path that you don't have to get into. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, no. So my mama mentality. I have a little brother, and he's, he has lifestyle choices. Are contrary. But I introduced him to Jesse's show a while ago.
Yeah.
And he's been watching it, and so I'm like, I of course I watch JLP all the time, and I was just in my imagination about what my brother would deduce, and not knowing any better with his influence. I'm arguing a certain way, which you pointed out. There's normie evil, which is just as evil as witchcraft evil. Now, you made that pretty clear, and it took me a few seconds, but I get where you're coming from. So, no, you're right. I was being mama about it, and it just because
I follow your meaning.
Yeah. All right, Hake.
I'm glad you asked the question, because a lot of people might wonder about that, or think that, or start to accuse even Jesse of
right.
of something that's not even real.
100%. No, I appreciate the way you push back, keeping it real, my man.
Cool, man.
I appreciate that, and I'll let you get to the callers, sir. You guys are the best.
Great call, Anthony. Appreciate you. Call me again.
Take care, guys.
You as well. Bye. Prince. Oh, yeah, I wasn't able to. Okay. Yeah, thank you, Anthony. I think I got to everybody. Sweet. We're at 45 minutes in. I have calls to get to. I have super chats to get to. Let me get to a few more calls, because there's some people I haven't heard from in a while. Right? Patrick in Denmark. It's been some time. How you doing, Patrick in Denmark?
Hello there, Hake. It's good to hear your voice.
Nice. You too.
I mean, I hear it on the show and so on, but now we're talking live. It's always great.
Right on.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask, it came to my mind, what's your understanding of the whole COVID-19 or coronavirus? Was it a planned attack by China, or was it sort of purchased? Was it the real people, rich people who did it, or was it really a virus?
My assumption, because I don't know, is it was accidentally leaked or got out, and China doesn't really have good controls. They've leaked viruses before on accident because they don't have good safety protocols that they hold to, like disciplined whites in America.
So it's sort of
and so it just got out.
And it is over in Russia.
It's a real. It's like what? A power plant in Russia?
So you mean to say sort of like the power plant, the atomic power plant in Ukraine or Russia that went off in the 80s?
Oh yeah. I guess so. I'm not really familiar with that story, but yeah. A lot of times there's Fukushima, for example. It was just.
Right.
I think it was poorly managed. And same thing with this virus. If it came from that lab, I don't know if it came from that lab. Maybe it was the bat soup or whatever. But they're thinking that that it came from the lab. And I think it was a real virus. I think it had been maybe manipulated, but I'm not sure. Like a gain of function. They were doing tests, They were trying to do a test in order to make a better vaccine or something. Maybe. That's what they claim.
Right.
And I think that the United States might have been funding gain of function. I don't know if it touched this particular thing. Gain of function meaning make a virus spread better or be stronger or be harsher or last longer or whatever. Through through GMO, genetic engineering.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll tell you one thing. Maybe there's a little bit of coincidence here. I'm actually reading a book currently that I found on a market for used things, and it's called Area 7, and it describes Area 7, this military base in America, where the story is all about a virus. It's about the Sino virus, which is designed for a gain of function that would expose white people and black people to the virus, and it would basically kill them.
Whoa.
But it's a Chinese bioweapon, which means that the Chinese people, the Asian breed, they are immune to the virus. Very interesting.
Wow. So that's is that a fiction or something that it's supposed to be hidden? It's like a conspiracy theory?
I believe it's actually, I'm starting to believe that this is a true story, that it's basically a fictional story of what's happening currently.
I don't think that the virus, this gain of function stuff, was meant to be a bioweapon. I don't think that. It could have been, but I really don't think that. I think it's just
I actually agree.
They're experimenting for science, but they're not wise with it. Is my guess about the situation, but I really don't know. I would stick with I don't know, Patrick. You don't want to arrive to some conclusion.
It's all the same in the book, because it's like they are testing and these things, and and they have an antidote to it and stuff like this.
Okay.
But I think it's so interesting whatever happened, and also that we have been silenced. I mean, right after it, and there are so many funny coincidences, just like the PCR test, which is that is pure. I mean, it's pseudoscience, because if you study the PCR, the author of it, Carey Mullis, you can search him. He is actually saying outright that PCR test is never designed to be able to see if you have a virus or not.
Well,
and he died just before, 2019.
Which could totally be a coincidence, not any type of conspiracy. Or it could be a conspiracy and not a coincidence. I would just leave it blank. I wouldn't get into trying to draw connections. Because a girlfriend, or a wife will draw connections that aren't really there, and will arrive to all kinds of crazy conclusions. And we don't want to be like a girlfriend or a wife who's in her imagination.
That's for sure. And just to be absolutely sure, you're not saying this just to avoid YouTube banning your channel.
Well, partly I am. But I already, nothing that, you can't dispute anything that I just said, because it's true. I'm a little on edge about it. I'm a little on edge about even mentioning it or going into this, because YouTube is, I'm a little nervous. Why are you getting nervous? So if I'm exuding any nervousness, it's because of that. But the words that I'm saying are the absolute truth, I think.
That's great stuff.
Thank you, Patrick in Denmark. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
All right.
I appreciate you, Hake. Thanks for taking my call. Bye-bye.
All right. Take care. Aaron! Is this of air and sea? No, maybe not. I'm thinking Aaron in Maryland. No, this is not of air and sea. Air and sea is from Maryland, but from somewhere else. What's up, Aaron?
Hey,
Maryland.
what's up? Can you hear me?
I can.
Hey, man. How you been?
Doing well. Well, I mean, I was sick last week, but we won't talk about that. I need to get more rest, I think. Especially because I've been more walking and jogging and getting a little exercise. And I haven't that's from doing almost nothing to doing something.
Yeah.
And then if I don't get enough sleep, then I run myself down and open myself up to getting sick, which is what happened. And I don't know if it's because of that, but what a mess. But other than that, I've been fine.
Dude, it might be they call it long COVID.
Oh.
That thing? I don't know. But I've had weird stuff like that too, to be honest.
Yeah.
I still exercise and everything, but sometimes it'll just be like just a fatigue, where I'll just be like, whoa, and not quite a fever. I don't know if you had a fever, but
I think I did.
I don't know.
I felt like I had a fever, not a harsh one, but a slight fever, enough to be uncomfortable, and a headache, congestion, and didn't feel like doing anything.
Yeah, I didn't have congestion, so you might have actually had some.
Right.
But Yeah, man. Hey, so recently, it's interesting. Jesse mentions, I believe he mentions that he says outright that Jesus isn't God. And I really resonated with, I felt that a lot, but I realized I never questioned it myself growing up. But when he said it like that, it started out something in me where I started to go and actually question people. I've been talking with a bunch of people that proclaim Jesus as God, because I'm trying to see where they're coming from, because they're pretty adamant about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I was going to ask you about this one verse that everyone of all denominations like. They seem to really like this one. I don't remember exactly, but it's from John, and it's pretty. Everyone seems to be pretty familiar. It's when Jesus is, I guess he's trying to explain to the Jews that he's Christ, and he mentions to them that Abraham was happy to see something, and they go, "How do you know how he felt? You weren't even there."
Right.
And
You're not even
quote,
40 years old. Something like that. They said.
Yeah, exactly. And then he goes, "Well, I'm telling you for sure that before Abraham was I am."
Yeah.
And they use that to prove that Jesus is God. But I am, doesn't I am mean, that's like the Hebrew, translated from Hebrew for God. I am is supposed to mean God, right?
No, it's what the voice in the burning bush, the voice of God purportedly, in the burning bush told Moses to tell the Israelites or Pharaoh, tell them, I am has sent you. What shall I call you? I am that I am. And when I was a kid and I heard that before Abraham was, I am, meaning he always is. That's cool. And that could have been the Son of God talking to Moses, meaning it wasn't God himself, but God's Son, who is God's voice, was God's voice, because he said everything from. And so I don't know. I didn't think of it as. I didn't even think of that as calling himself God when I was a kid, because I knew both. I knew both times. But it's not necessarily. He was just saying, and who knows what he meant and how he meant it, because you could say the prophets often spoke with God of God. God says this. And so they spoke almost in the first person, as though God himself was saying it, because he was telling them what to say. And so Jesus did say, I speak nothing but from what God says. So he's the Son, and he was called the firstborn over all creation. So why wouldn't he be there? Why wouldn't he be before Abraham?
Right.
Because he's the Son of God. Doesn't mean that he's God. What's that?
Was Jesus?
What's that? Yeah, Jesus.
So Jesus was the voice. I was thinking of, I thought I am was God. And
no,
so
that's what God said about himself, because he's said he is. Because they're like, who are you? What do I call you?
I am.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Aren't we supposed to be?
Huh?
And we're supposed to be.
We be, and he is.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing?
Because that sounds black. Which proves that God and Jesus are not black.
No, I was gonna say they use. Well, most of these guys use. I don't want to see these guys because it's not really giving. Most of the people I spoke to use that to say that Jesus is God.
Right.
And I was gonna say from what I was.
Oh, you're breaking up there.
Like, hello, can you hear me?
Now I can.
Hello.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right.
So when he says I am, it seems when the words I am.
Oh, you cut out there, man. Where are you?
Oh.
Go ahead.
I got full signal. You can't hear me?
Well, you cut out every like several 20 seconds or so. Go ahead.
I'll try again, but if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. I was saying every time he says, or when he says I am, it sounds like he's talking about referring to the the end all be all. That's what he's referring to. That was before and always was.
Yeah.
Is
Who was and is
him.
to come.
Yeah, that's what he said. And it seems like he was saying before Abraham was, I am, which is true.
Yeah.
Right.
Not his physical life, but his spirit.
He's connected to the all throughout time. He's
Yep.
connected to him. So that's what he's saying. And he was saying, he mentioned right before that, a couple of verses before that he doesn't glorify himself.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. And then he also said, when in that same passage, he said, why are you trying to stone me because I say I am God's son? God's son. Is it because of these miracles that I do? No, because you're calling yourself God. He never called himself God. But they want to, people are stuck in words.
Yeah. So I was trying to tell someone before, it's very interesting. This is what I see is so interesting. That at the end of that, and when he says I am, then the Jews prepare some stones to throw at him because they're so outraged. But it seems as though, check this out. It seems as though because they misunderstood him to be proclaiming he is God, that misunderstanding led them to hate. So it would seem that that understanding it as Jesus is God is of an evil spirit. Taking it to be as Jesus is God is exactly what you shouldn't do.
Right.
Because that's how they took it, and they became filled with anger.
Right. True.
You know what I mean? It seems like it kind of disproves what everybody's saying. They skipped the part where they prepare to throw stones, but I feel like if you look at that more than what he said, the reaction of them, if they thought he was saying he was God, why would you try to throw stones at him?
Right.
It still is against it still is against what they were taught. You know, I don't know. I didn't read the Old Testament that much, but I don't remember them ever saying, hey, if someone is blasphemous or the Antichrist or whatever, stone him. I don't think it ever says that.
Yeah.
So it's just they were completely overwhelmed by evil at that point.
Right.
They wanted to do that to somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
True.
So yeah, I don't know. I thought that was. It seems like a weak argument either way.
And the Pharisee Christians will stone you, metaphysically speaking, of course, as a heretic for calling Jesus God's son, rather than calling him God. Same thing.
Yeah. Why did they get? Well, I don't want to say they, because the people I spoke to weren't upset. They were actually pretty.
No, but they'll call you.
calm.
They'll call you a heretic. They'll call you a blasphemer and all kinds of stuff, just like the Pharisees did.
I haven't been called that yet.
Yeah.
I haven't been called that yet, but yeah, man. Did you already speak about the second assassination attempt?
A little bit, not really, not a lot. What did you want to say about it?
I wanted to say it's very, very strange how this is being glossed over. This is the second time in the span of a few months. It seems like every headline, every news channel should be covering the investigation of both, if there's any link. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It seems like that should be the front line of anything.
I listened to a competitor make an interesting, very true, and very almost tired and obvious point that everybody knows, but it's good, it bears repeating, the obvious, that the liberal media and the Democrats and the rhinos make no big thing of Trump's first assassination attempt. They made it big at first, but it died down. They forgot all about it. But even at the debate last week, they brought up January 6th. The only person to bring up the assassination attempt was Trump.
Oh, yeah.
A real thing where she killed a man. I mean, the young man on the roof killed a man, actually killed at least one, I think, severely injured 2 or 3 others, and allegedly grazed Trump's ear. all that real stuff, it was one person, granted, versus a riot where only Trump supporters died. One Trump supporter really died from that. And some Capitol Police officers committed suicide. One of them, who was a Trump supporter, had a couple of strokes and he died. Brian Sicknick, rest in peace. But this thing where it was a mostly peaceful protest, part of which turned into a riot at the Capitol, they're still talking about it to this day. They don't talk about the Black Lives Matter insurrection around the country that was far more destructive and deadly and dangerous to the country. They don't talk about these assassination attempts on Trump. They report on it, make it big news, make their headlines, but then they clamp it down because they know that it would help Trump.
It's pretty obvious at this point.
Yeah.
It's getting kind of embarrassing. I feel like it's sort of insulting to American people now.
Yeah.
Because it's, I mean, there was I remember he said it during the debate that they're eating cats and dogs and all that. And
which is meme-worthy. Which is funny because what's worse than eating cats and dogs is the car accidents that they're doing, allegedly driving reckless and killing grandmothers, or killed one grandmother. Crazy, that stuff and the R, well, I don't know if they're doing any R wording, but they're just changing the culture for the worse in that city. They're changing the whole vibe for the worse. That's far more evil and far more real life. But the cats and dogs thing is a smart play to bring up because that's much more memorable. People make memes about it.
Yeah.
And if people are
shocking. Wake you up.
And the people who are criticizing that as though it's not happening, okay, maybe it's not happening, but there is far more evil really going on if you look into it. And they are not even talking about that. But I love Trump for that type of stuff.
Forget not talking about it. She straight up had a laugh, dude. Like, had a good. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I was gonna say, even if it's not cats and dogs, there's definitely something happening. It's for sure something's happening. The people are upset about it. American people are upset about it before the migrants.
Yeah.
And it's something going on. That's something strange in the country.
Yeah.
And to straight up have a good, like, she had a hearty laugh. I was kind of jealous because I haven't laughed like that in a while, man. That was a good laugh she had.
Right.
When she brought it up. That's kind of, even if you're Democratic, you should feel a little bit concerned that the person that's spearheading your party right now doesn't even bet. That would have been awesome for her if he did that and then she approached it with some calmness and some seriousness. I would have been shocked and very surprised if she did that.
Because she's not an honest person. And the media themselves are not honest about the situation, the destruction, and the change for the worse that these immigrants bring.
Yeah, it's obvious.
Or illegals or whatever they are. Yeah.
Whatever you want to say, okay, something you brought in. Look, dude, 20,000 people in the span of such a short time. In
a city of, 50,000 or something like that?
I believe it's a rural area, right?
I think it's a suburb.
They might not even have the infrastructure.
Maybe boonies or something.
Suburb.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, they might not even have the infrastructure to handle that. Even if it is, there's some claims that it's revitalizing their economy. What we're saying is just for the stability of the society.
Right.
That's going to be unnatural for anything, for anyone, any country. It doesn't even matter if it's America. You just bring a specific one type of people to a whole other place.
Right.
It's almost like you're trying to have fun and see what happens. Like, you ever play those sandbox games where it's like, yo, what if I do this? I want to see what happens.
Huh.
It's pretty radical, I think.
It is. The dishonesty, it's crazy. Interesting.
Yeah, but I'm
point.
not gonna lie. I'm pretty unbiased in this, and I do see from the Republican Party that there's also they're dipping their toe a little bit, and not a little bit. They're lying as well. They're lying. And
the Republicans, what's an example?
Yeah. Well, this is the thing with it. Since they didn't confirm the Springfield story, the cats and dogs thing shouldn't have pushed it that hard, man. It's just, you know what I mean? Like, I get it. There's a problem, but that's a sign of desperation in any way. If you just take something and just run away with it, why'd you do that, guys? You already
Right.
have a strong platform. The conservatives is exactly what the country needs right now. We need to slow down the power of the government. We need to really fix the economy by empowering the people who run businesses.
Yeah.
And by helping them out, then they're going to maybe hire more people, do things, open more businesses. That's all conservative stuff. So you guys are already in the win, but trying to play their game right now, which I think is being played by the people.
A
who
lot
have
of people
hijacked
aren't.
the
A lot of
Democratic
people aren't saying. Like, for example, JLP has reported on it, but he's reporting what the locals are saying, or
Which
what
he's
some
right.
of
He's
the
doing
locals
it
are
the
saying,
right
and
way.
the locals are saying that. So they talk about these different things. There was a caller on the JLP show on Friday from Springfield,
Yeah.
who said she doesn't know. I mean, it doesn't sound like she knew anything firsthand about the animals, but a couple of cats, one that had been a pet cat for 10 years, 10-year-old cat, went missing suddenly. And so what's with that?
Oh, really?
And so there may be more evidence of something going on, maybe not what they're saying, but something going on than we know.
Yeah,
So,
of course.
uh,
Now, but I mean,
And
at
so,
that time.
no, even at that time, though, I'm just saying.
Oh, there was?
Yeah, I mean, there may be there. I'm just saying you can't just say that it's a lie. You just have to say the police have said that there's no confirmed reports, blah blah blah. But you can say that, but you can also say
I see what you're saying.
there are people who say that this is happening, and people could be lying, but people are saying that.
Okay.
So you're not
All right.
lying. You're just reporting what somebody else is saying, and you could say, according to them, that's happening. But I don't know personally if it's happening.
Well, even the way you said it is more honest than straight up proclaiming as if you know for yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which
is
of the
what you should do
Republicans
for
are doing.
all things. You should even do that for the Trump assassination attempt.
Yes.
Because according to reports, because I wasn't there. You never really know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. And I wish they would all do that,
Yeah.
to be honest, because it's to the point where it's like, obviously, I mean, they should know better. It's so obvious now that everybody is lying. So you can easily win this if you show that you're not lying. You know what I mean? Like, it's very simple. But I mean, it's not so much about not lying, but it's about trying to go for transparency as best as you can.
Definitely.
It's not really like, I don't think he's lying, but trying to be transparent in everything you're saying. And also, I wish he calmed down a little bit. He was so on point with everything he was saying that sometimes it seemed like he was getting a little loud, but he didn't need to
in the
be.
debate.
He's already in the debate. Yeah, Trump was already in the right, and the way he was approaching it was right in line with his political party's views, with solutions, with what he's doing, with in the direction he wants to go. For example, like the abortion.
Yeah.
He was clear. I'm bringing it to the states. It's a complicated issue. I'm giving it to the people.
Right.
Which is exactly how it should be for issues like this. Why is the government deciding all these things?
Yeah.
You know?
God let
defense was just
God let the Israelites have a king, knowing that it would be bad for them, but they wanted it, so he gave them a king, and they suffered for it. And he told them they'd suffer.
Yeah, it would have been in his favor if he relaxed at that point. If he just chilled out and it was just like, "Oh, I got this in the bag." Especially after she straight up called him a criminal, she could have just relaxed at that point.
Maybe so. I did like. I kind of agree with what you're saying about his shouting, but I also saw a man who cares about the country and expressed real, actual urgency about the state of the country, the sorry state that the country's in, versus a woman just giving these platitudes, these lines that she repeated like more than once, these cliches that we have more in common than separates us, and stuff like that. This woman was so phony, and he was so real, or he was just real. Yeah. And that's always been the case in debates.
Yeah. Okay. I can see where you're coming from with that. I
Yeah.
can see that.
But you might be right. He
I
might have
guess-
been a little. He might have been a little frustrated because he might have been, when he listens to his advisors who try to keep him tamer. He doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem as free and relaxed, and so that
Yeah.
might be what you're picking up on.
Yeah, it seems like it just, I don't know, I can't really pinpoint it, but it didn't seem like he was, you know, it seemed like
He wasn't fully
it was just
spontaneous,
too
maybe.
tense.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should have done just been himself. Do
Right.
your thing. You already got it. You're in the bag. Everyone sees what's going on. And in fact, I think if he would have been more himself, it would have broken through the weird facade that they were all doing. Like, for
Right.
example, when the moderators were talking back, he should have kept talking back with them because they wanted to talk back and get the last word.
I know,
So
that was
run over her
ridiculous.
time. He
She
should have just ran over Kamala's time and just kept talking with him. They want
Nice.
to talk, right?
Yep, true.
You know what I mean?
I know they brought up
Yeah,
lame fact checks that weren't even necessarily factual or even pertinent
know.
or relevant about there's
my
no
God.
state in the country. There's no state in the country that where killing the baby outside the womb is legal. And that wasn't even what he said. He said that they advocate for it, and they do. So, and
he
including
also
the
said 9
governor,
months.
the former governor. Yeah, I know. What
He
a
also said 9 months, though. He said 9 months.
true. Yeah,
He didn't say it. So they took that, and also you got to remember, by getting the last word, that's the last thing you leave in the viewer's mind.
right.
So that's clearly orchestrated. But the craziest thing, I called in last week on the American Anchor Baby show, and I mentioned to him as well, man. In a debate, I think it's absolutely ridiculous to pin one of the opponents or one of the debaters into a yes or no question. It's absolutely ridiculous. The whole point of a debate is supposed to be, here's an issue, reveal your stance, and then the other person reveals their stance, and then rebuttals if there might be some. You know?
Right. That's an interesting point.
It's ridiculous to say, hold on a second, I heard your point, but we need a yes or no on this.
Yeah.
And then to not do the same thing to the other person is ridiculous. It's not even a debate at that point. It's
Right.
It's an interrogation.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
JLP pointed out the day after the debate that one of the very first questions, at least if not the first, was to Kamala, are Americans better off today than they were 3.5 years ago or whatever? And she did not answer the question. And Trump,
Not at all.
Trump didn't point out that she didn't answer the question. They didn't hold her to answering the question. And they didn't ask Trump whether Americans were better off than 3.5 years ago. Because Trump could have answered that and exposed that quite clearly. They weren't. That's not a debate. That's just an interview with two different people. Softballs to Kamala, and it's a softball because they didn't follow up, and Trump didn't point it out that she didn't answer the question. That would have been powerful.
He would have been an all-star.
Yeah.
He would have been an all-star if he was on his Trump stuff. You
Yep.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was the time to do it right there.
Exactly.
But no, it's I was amazed at that. And then again, for one of the questions, I can't remember which one it was, but she says, she tells the moderators, "Hey, I'm going to get back to that, but I want to talk about how this guy's a criminal." Like, just had a complete sidebar.
Oh yeah.
And just started. Do you remember when that was? I can't.
No,
I'm
I don't
hazy on
remember.
when.
But that's
You know
how
what
they
I'm talking
use.
about?
They're allowed to use their time like that. I got to run though,
Wow.
Aaron and Marilyn. It's good talking to you.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, you too.
Good
No
call.
problem.
Appreciate it. Call me again.
Yep.
Bye.
Yep.
Wow. We're at 15 minutes after the top of the hour here. Let me see if Joel Friday is scheduled here. Make sure you do catch Joel Friday, who will be live in 45 minutes or less. I have to end on time. I wanted to get to Alex in California, who was calling in. I don't think I was able to get to Alex. He dropped off. Yeah, Joel Friday TV is coming up next. Catch him. Failed children fail society. Failed children fail society, he says, is the name of his upcoming episode on Joel Friday TV YouTube. Check that out. We're going to be on the Punchy TV live. Won't that be exciting? Is the plan 2 p.m. in about less than 4 hours, if we're on time, right? 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. 2 p.m. Pacific time. That's 4 Central, 5 Eastern. Punchy TV. Let me see if I have Punchy TV. Nope. YouTube.com/@ Punchy TV. Punchie, by the way. A lot of you guys don't realize that. Punchie, Punchy. That's how they spelled it, okay? Down south for JLP's thing. TV. What's up, Igor? Tough torta? Holding it down on X. Nice. I have some super chats to get to, guys. Over on buymeacoffee.com/The Hake Report, and then I will get back to your calls. But, okay, let me scroll all the way down over here. Popcorn's Thump Keg gave a couple of hefty super chats. I mean, coffees. Hefty messages, at least. I believe Ralph bought me this coffee. 5 coffees last week. Hey, Mr. Hake. Hope you're doing well. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. And over on Streamlabs, at long last, I figured out how to pull them up. Lin Yen Chin gave some of these super chats here. Very nice. I have to read them bottom to top. So, okay. All right. I think I read this one about they are the living dead, mouth breathers are the workhorse of chaos. Yes. Lin Yen Chin writes, the most repertoire use, never usage nor usages of ly of Lee, it's in moment of embellishing godhood, where mouth breathers say completely/absolutely. They spam it the more hyped up they are in the moment, even dropping 3 of either completely, absolutely, in any one sentence. Like I remember the gays talked about that gal who refused to give away, I'm blanking on her name, but she was in some state like Indiana or somewhere. And she refused to give them marriage licenses or something like that. And this gay guy was like, absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, the more depthless a beast, I have to read these in reverse order, okay? So starting with this one, and then we're over on this one. The more depthless a beast, the more it chains suffix in trying to modify an existing word into emphasize one or every element that is already, conveyed in the how every word relates to the words immediately next to them, building up a progressive sense. Yeah, modifiers. The more depthless a beast, the more it chains suffix in trying to modify an existing word into emphasize suffix such as ly, effortlessly into existing word to emphasize one or every element already conveyed in the how every word relates to the words immediately next to them, building up a progressive sense. Of context, sense of context versus subtext, which is where I is found in relation to a giving intent or of phrasing, an exact sequence of normal words, not ones of misused and redundant suffix. It's most sharply received through inner stillness for inner noise clouds perception, says Lin Yen Chin. I'll have to ponder that one, man. But I notice, Lin Yen Chin, and your your messed up central nervous system, the damage to your central nervous system has begun to affect me. It's catching. It is contagious. When, for example, people say communistic, you could just say communist. Or adding S's at the end of, like, killing. Killings. There's been many killings. There's been much killing. No S needed. If you, same word, same meaning. Anyway, thank you, Lin Yen Chin. Greggatron says, hey, Hake, could you do me a favor? Can you find a way to give half of this to Steven, the 87-year-old man, and keep half for yourself? Yours truly, Greggatron, y'all's favorite Diane, D-I-A-N, which is to say, dumb, ignorant, enga, or enger, or engro, negro. I forget which one it is. But that was Stephen from Maryland came up with that word for Greggatron, Diane. And he said, yes, I am. Somehow, I don't know if I can find a way. Normally, I know we can find a way, but I don't know if I can find a way. But thank you, Greggatron. Stephen in Maryland, he wants to give you $5. Buckaroos. Greggatron does. Isn't that sweet? Okay, and let's see. Let me zoom out over here and figure out if I can... Oh, come on. Okay. More from Lin Yen Chin. I know you like hype, Hake. Lots of hype, Hake. Heavy hype, Hake. But calm is where breath doesn't pause. And it isn't rapid, but slowed and more full because of this slowness. Stop pausing your breath so much. Such frequent use of bated breath is why you always feel a bit dazed and bored. Calm. Lin Yen Chin always with great advice, great physical advice for Hake and others. He used to tell Hassan to sit up straight. Fix your spinal alignment. Lin Yen Chin says, calmness guides breath, which guides and refines the qualities of your blood. Blood flowing in tune with flow of breath will regulate heart rate through blood pressure shift of prolonged breath. Nice advice, Lin Yen Chin. This drops the pressure in your head so you can come out of it. Interesting. Take 7 slowed breaths with no pause in transition of in to out and out to in. Breathe. Finish these 7 breaths, then read the last 2 chats again. Welcome to inner stillness. LGH, Lord Good Hair. For the sake of time, I shall do that on my own time. Lin Yen Chin, thank you for the suggestions and tips. Very informative. They bring me back a little bit. And that's cool. Much appreciated as always, Lin Yen Chin. That's so cool. A few more super chats before we get back to calls, guys. Thank you, Ralph, for those coffees. C about our coffee. Hake, do you know what they're serving as mushu pork? Triple question mark. Cat lives matter. Cat face emoji. Catum. Black cat emoji. Yellow cat emoji. I had a white cat. My sister, I guess, had a white cat. Was it my sister's cat? I forget. Whiskers. And I had a cat named Peter. And he was mostly light tan and white. I forget whether it was striped or just patchy. But he got shot in the face. My dad thinks by the neighbor. An old World War II vet or World War I vet. Maybe not World War I. Angry, shall I dox him? He's dead. He died, I'm pretty sure, I think. Allegedly with a pellet gun. I mean, it looked like rivets. The cops came over. They're like, it looks like rivets. Like he had these silver things. When they shot, I don't know, it's like these people who are metal. In his face, there were like these metal things in him, and he was just slowing down. Peter was slowing down, Peter the cat. And eventually, my parents took him away, And I guess they put him to sleep at the vet or something. And my dad was thinking, because he was a very grouchy neighbor, so that's why my dad thinks it was him. But we don't know who it was. It might have been a child rather than an old, angry man, grouchy man. So it's not just the Haitians and others who, in their country, I guess they're desperate and they get cats and other things. But thank you, C on C. You prompted a nice little Hake story. Terry bought a coffee. Glad you're feeling better. Hake, don't try any more of them new Haitian restaurants again. Satisfied. Closed eyes, smile emoji. Thank you, Terry. Truck driver. By the way, keep these clean so that I don't accidentally show cuss words or vulgar references. Not that truck driver ever does that, but just I thought of that. Welcome back, Senor James. Lots to cover. First, I agree with your supporters. The self-censoring is too much. Thank you, Scarecrow's Garage. I think his name was Andrew. I'm blanking on your name, man. From Kansas, I think it was. Self-censoring too much. What happened to old Giga Chad Hake? Show's becoming too liberal. When are you having your Ukrainian shill again? Who you mean, Dylan Burns? Ask him why Ukraine's shooting their own F-16s. I hadn't heard about that. Thank you for the tip, truck driver. I have been thinking about guests. It's a good thing that I didn't schedule any for last week because I was out most of last week. Thank you, truck driver. That's cool. And thanks for the feedback as well. I shall consider about the self-censoring. I used to have a beautiful rebel flag on my other laptop that I had here, my old laptop. I still have it, but it's at home. Very nice. But I stopped showing it partly for the sake of my channel, I just don't want to put extra risks on my channel. It's a shame. What a mess. And I still have this from Carver. I think it's from Carver. My beautiful stuffed animal don't call it a plushie, even though it says reversible plushies here. I still have it. Him. Man. Angry. My autistic. It's not anti-Semitic. Many tentacled octopus. But I got negative feedback about it. Now I don't want to show it on my show so much. At least not the whole time. What a mess. It's a lot of clutter anyway. Thank you, truck driver. What a mess. Okay, I think, am I at the long Popcorn Stump Keg Super Chats? Over here, Popcorn Stump Keg says, could you reiterate or clarify your response, and Jesse's if you like, to my coffee about Trump's Truth Social post about T Swift? I'm glad you brought that up. I'm so glad you brought that up. Popcorn Stump Keg. Do. Trump. Let's see. Second attempt, etc. I hate Taylor Swift, said Trump. I hate Taylor Swift. He posted on X with one exclamation mark, all caps, Taylor Swift. And it's a truth that he truthed, because you don't tweet on Truth Social. You don't post on Truth Social. You truth and retruth on Truth Social. So he truthed, I hate Taylor Swift. And I liked it with a heart, and I retruthed it. The Hake report on Truth Social. I'm rarely there, but when Trump posts something there, and I find out about it, which I did yesterday about this Taylor Swift thing, I like it, and I retruth his truth, the truth, Truth Social, from real Donald Trump, keyword real. I hate Taylor Swift. September 15th, 2024, yesterday, 7:44 a.m. U.S. Pacific Daylight Time, he posted that. And I retruthed it. That would have been 10:44 his time, I believe. If he's over in East Coast time, which is Florida, most of it. Okay, so that's what Trump said. How else can you interpret him saying, I hate Taylor Swift, other than he hates her? Nothing to interpret. Jesse said something like he doesn't hate her. Almost like there are degrees of hatred. No, there's types of hatred. There's godly hatred, and then there's petty human being emotional hatred. There's the same word has different meanings. So it's not degrees. No. And if you hate just a little bit, it's not really hate. That's popcorn stump cake. No, if just because you say you hate somebody doesn't mean that you hate them in the sense of you're emotionally hating them. God said, Jacob I loved, but Esau I hated. It didn't mean that he hated Esau in the sense, I hate Esau. God's not like that. Nor is, you've never seen Trump hating Taylor Swift. Or really anybody. Only Rosie O'Donnell. Even then, I don't think that Trump really feels anything against her. Maybe he does. But there's no evidence. There is no he lost his cool. Right? Seems like a classic example of someone who can do no wrong. And so the standards that you claim you agree with, i.e. if you hate one, you love no one, just go out the window. No, it's because you're hung up on words, like I said. This is what I meant when I stated in the past that you guys have you show me the man, I'll show you the law mentality. It means depending on who the person is, they may get a pass for doing or saying someone that another person wouldn't get. Well, because let's say if Obama, we've seen Obama hateful. We've seen Obama angry. We've seen Obama lying intentionally, being deceptive. Intentionally. We've never seen that from Trump. I haven't. Some of you guys think that you have. Oh, he's just a scammer. So you say. You're a scammer. Look in the mirror. They used to say. The school kids at my school. Look in the mirror. Yeah, but don't get hung up on the... So my response, reiterating my response is, you're hung up on the word. You don't know meaning, and you don't know the spirit. Because the spirit's more important than the word. God said he hates. Jesse's probably said he hates somebody or something. Even since being born again, perhaps. But he's not thinking like that. He's just expressing... Maybe her music is... I don't even know what he means. Her music is dumb? Or is he just saying... look, we're talking about Trump here. Is he saying he hates her music? Or he just hates her because she's a dumb liberal, blind, brainwashed liberal who... oh, yeah, hold on. Nice. A blind, brainwashed liberal... who is supporting evil in cackling Kamala Harris and other female Democrats who support abortion. And I think what she said was she supports her partly because of Tim Walz being all pro-gay. You know how Tim Walz, beta male, is all pro-gay. Nasty. Isn't that just hateable? Ugh, makes me want to spit. That type of hate. So maybe he just means Taylor Swift makes him want to spit. Where's my spittoon? And I like Taylor Swift. At least her music and looks and stuff. She's gotten a little bit more immodest, which I disavow that. She used to be a modest, clean, seeming, non-political, pop country gal, young lady. And now she's a pop, dating a guy who allegedly, some of you guys say, used to date black gals, and he's all into kind of talks black, dresses black. Travis Kelce. I'm not jealous of him. I'm not envious. No siree, Bob. Please. But I used to say, what are the chances of a guy like me and a gal like T Swift? And that was funny because that was during my crazy Facebook posting against Obama and the gay agenda and the fake racism and the women voting days. I did hate the liberals at that point. I was a hater. But it's the spirit. It's not the words. Thank you, Popcorn Stump Cake. That's cool. Glad you brought that up. I love it, for one. I, for one, love it. I think it's funny. Popcorn Stump Cake bought a coffee. You can't hold me to a standard. That super chat on Jesse's show today was someone referencing Jesse's response to a coffee that I sent him earlier. Doxed yourself as having sent that super chat to JLP. I simply asked him to point in the Bible that it literally states the woman became the man's God. And I said that I was holding him to the same standard that he supposedly, according to Popcorn Stump Cake, he just didn't use the word supposedly, that he holds callers to when they use Bible references to reference, the Bible to reference Jesus being God. The Bible doesn't literally say that the woman became the man's God. So he can't just say, so he just said, you can't hold me to a standard and didn't answer the question. But he did that. Read Genesis is the typical response. But he did answer the question because he said, you can't hold me to a standard. When the premise of your question is holding you to a standard, you can say, you can't hold me to a standard. I thought that it was a brilliant and Jesus-like response. My question to you is, do you think that drawing a conclusion from the Bible is okay when the Bible doesn't literally say X, Y, or Z? ? When do you have a show me where it literally says standard, and when you have a, well, this means standard? But you're thinking that Jesse has a literally means standard. Literally says standard, but he may not even have that standard. You're imagining that standard. Because people are making logical jumps that are not even logical. They're making illogical jumps to say that, oh, Jesus is God. And I get why they're doing it. I get why the mind is hung up on the words, the intellectualism. But you're imagining that he has that standard because he doesn't say literally where it literally says. He says, show me where it says. And he debunked every single one as not actually saying that Jesus is God. Didn't say literally, word for word. But other people, you guys are in your imagination where he's saying that you even have to say use for word. False. Jesus wouldn't have used a double standard where Jesse has a double standard. You're falling. Don't you realize, Reese's Vids, that you're every bit as a blind intellectual? You're sounding just like blind intellectual black Popcorn Stump Cake. I think he said that he's black, or she, or it. This AI. Might be an AI. Shout out to Popcorn Stump Cake. Very smart in the sense of a computer scientist and stuff like that, I think. And communicates pretty well, I think. But just illogical, jumps to false conclusions, which is what intellectuals do. Thank you, sir. I thought that was a great answer. I get that it left you dissatisfied. But doesn't the Bible say that Satan is the god of this world? Satan, the god of this world. And by this world, it means the people in the world, which includes who? It includes women. And don't men worship women? So it is accurate to say, even biblical, to say Satan is the woman's god because she listens to the devil in her imagination, which everybody knows that they do. Everybody who deals with women and their own selves recognizes the woman listening to the devil as many of us males listen to the devil. And then a lot of the time, and most of the time, the men, whether they're gays, or straights, they worship the woman. Chasing after the woman. Even these alpha simps, they are so often it's like they're measuring their value on getting the women, worshiping the woman. Thank you, Popcorn's Thump Cake. So that is quite clear, undeniable, that Satan is the woman's god. He's the god of the world. Is he also the god of the man? Yeah. Mostly by way of the woman. Because we're worshiping the woman. When you worship an idol, when you worship a false idol, I was told as a kid that there are demons behind those. So you're really worshiping demons. Isn't that interesting? Nice. Thanks as always, Popcorn Stump Keg and other super chatters. Okay, I gotta get to more calls because, man, we're running down. I haven't gotten to anything. David in Ocala, Florida is on the line here. David, thank you for calling and holding there, man. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Glad to see you're feeling better, man.
Thank you.
Now they're offering the COVID shot and the flu shot together.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Travis Kelce was doing it.
See that?
They call him Kelsey, but Travis Kelce, he's like, you can get 2 in 1. I think.
Yeah, that was last year. They're already beating on it this year, is what I'm saying, for the
What a
flu
mess.
shot without him.
I never liked the idea of getting a flu shot. And you hear horror stories every now and then. Not that it's going to happen to me, but there are like bad reactions to these things.
Right, man.
Yeah, and maybe for some people it's good and makes sense. I'm leaving that there just partly for the sake of my channel and also because there are some people who maybe it is. So
yeah, I'm not going to say I hate, but man, I'm sick of Taylor Swift and the Kansas City Chiefs, man. I mean, after that, Cincinnati blowing that game yesterday and giving them another game, I just can't stand the Kansas City Chiefs, man, anymore. I'm just sick of it.
Yeah,
you know?
True.
Enough already. Anyway, hey, listen, I can't really, I know you're short on time. I'll call back about the Jesus is God issue.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's great.
You know, because the guy who, unless we got a little time, anyway, the guy who called about the Satanist deal, you know?
Yeah, the Satanist who was on the Fallen State, Anthony called in about this JLP interviewing that Satanist Joseph Rose, who was on the Fallen State premiere on Friday. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was more concerned about where it says in the Bible, what does light have to do with darkness? You got to be real careful around those Satanists, man, because, you know, what people don't realize, a lot of people don't really realize that Satan is the god of this world. He is running the show. That's why he tried to offer it up to Jesus. Right. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. But like when Jesus hung out with the people of darkness,
yeah, but those were just hookers and stuff like that. Those weren't full-fledged Satan worshipers, dude. Do you realize you have nurses, doctors, attorneys, and all kinds of people like that are full-fledged Satan worshipers in this country and in this world?
Doesn't that include, like, most even Christians are full-fledged Satan worshipers?
No. Well, in a way, yes, because they're not serving, you know, if
right.
they're serving the wrong Jesus.
Yeah.
But that's taking it to the extreme, man. I'm telling you, there's full-fledged people out there that, you know, like do as thou wilt, you know.
But everybody does as they wilt. Haven't you noticed? Everybody, like, whether they admit it or not, they do as they wilt. They do as to please themselves. They're selfish. When I say everybody, I mean like that's the evil human nature. And granted, that guy is encouraging people to embrace that knowingly, and other people just kind of like won't admit to themselves that that's what they're doing, but that's what they're doing. It's not good to do it knowingly, but it's also evil to go on unknowingly doing it, and then at the end, they'll say, "Lord, Lord, didn't we do this and that in your name. Away from me, evildoers, I never knew you.
Yeah, depart from me, you workers
Yeah.
of iniquity. I never knew you. Right. But that's a lot of people in the ministry, because they went and they used money. They made money off of God. And
Right.
That's what those Pharisees, a lot of people don't realize, the reason why they hated Jesus is because he told them he was the Messiah, and he is. And then Jews
Right.
are still waiting for him, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So, and, I'll call back about the other stuff so you can
That's
get on.
great.
The only, the only way that people can realize that Jesus is God is the Holy Spirit has to reveal it to them. Okay?
Nice.
I'm
Yeah.
going to leave you with that.
There's a guy named Pastor Chatelet in the Rumble rants who cites the verse, "Let every man be convinced in his own mind." So let people be wrong. Let people be. It's not a matter like their salvation is not on you.
Of course. Well, I do want to say this, because there's a lot of people in your chat that do believe that Jesus is God.
Right.
And months back, somebody typed in there Isaiah 9:6, and I went and read it, and
Yeah.
I will always have that embedded in my memory forever. And it taught, and that's in the Old Testament, and that's proclaiming that Jesus is God. And that verse right there says it. So anyway, listen, man, I know you want to grab somebody else, so have a great day, and I'm glad you're feeling better.
Thank you. Appreciate it, David
All right,
and
buddy.
Ocala. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. And Grant in the UK. See if I can do this. Grant in the UK, thanks for calling and holding there, man. What's up?
It's okay. Hey, Hank.
Hey.
I always say Hank. I hate Hank.
Right.
You've got one of the most unique names I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
think about
A
it.
lot of people think that it's hockey or hake.
Hockey. That sounds Hawaiian.
I know.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, in the space of 2 weeks, my whole life, quote unquote, external life, had kind of crashed in front of my eyes. I basically nearly became homeless. And then a
Whoa.
week before that, I was a director for films, living a life like that. And the two parallel extremes definitely, because you think you overcome a lot. You think, oh, the ego tells you, I've overcome this, I've overcome that.
Yeah.
And then when things like that hit, where the money's been taken, where your living's getting taken, and you're very, very close to being on the street, it really, and I lost my vision a week and a half ago for 5 hours, things like that.
Whoa.
Yeah, man, it all happened in one. And, it really but the thing is, it's such a beautiful thing because it really teaches you, Jesse talks about that, these people aren't your family, and these people who is actually really your family, and this has let me know who is actually here for me. I
Yeah,
guess.
true.
And what I was going to ask is what's happened is the first week I was I couldn't get off the demonic low vibration of the whole thing. It was trying to make me feel really depressed.
Yeah.
It was trying to make me, trying to encapsulate me.
Right.
Yeah. And now I've just been observing my whole life. That's all I have. It's just every moment I'm just observing it. And I have kind of two questions. One thing that happened before it all went down is I had this massive gut reaction that something big was coming. And I don't know whether that is God, because it was an emotion in a way, or that was demonic. But before it all happened, I had this huge, I knew it was coming, but obviously I couldn't intellectually, I couldn't put it into words what was coming. But I knew deep down that something big was coming. And the other thing was, do you think there's God emotions where, I've realized that, I'm actually very grateful that these things happen to me, because it allows me to see where I have to work on, and where, because it's very easy to get to a comfortable state where you believe inside your ego that, oh, I could deal with anything. I've got there, that happens. And then when it actually hits you, it's who are you actually? are you going to be the one who cowers in fear, or
Yeah.
are you going to still be like, thank you for letting me be alive? And I've been feeling some type of emotions, but they feel very different to the previous old self me. And I was wondering if there is such a thing of godly emotion, and if there's such a thing of pre-knowing in your heart or gut something coming when you might, but I should be present and not even listen to it, if that makes sense.
I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Fair.
Yeah. But it
Yeah.
sounds like you're going through it.
Yeah.
Keep on staying with it. Don't arrive at any conclusion, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be going, because that's where people go crazy. I think the definition of crazy is, I might be wrong, but I think the definition of crazy is believing something that's not true.
Yeah, me too.
Believing something in your head that may seem logical in your crazy mind, but it's not. You don't listen to your mind like that.
Yeah, it's like thinking you know a conclusion when you have no idea, because all fundamentally is I'm right here. Like,
yeah,
it's not trying. It's literally trying to, in a way, because like really quick, like when it was all going down, and like I was like so physically ill, I was like kind of, I wasn't necessarily crawling on the floor, but I was close, going to these homeless places, like try and make sure that like they see me, and I knew God was with me.
Yeah,
and like I was just trying to observe and be present with the whole situation always. And it's funny how the mind, because of worry, tries to find a conclusion in stress and fear.
Yeah.
And it's actually always a detriment, because
so true.
Like today, I was just like, I don't know anything. Even it might be weird to say it out loud, but I was just saying it, like, I don't know anything.
Yep.
So just like, I literally don't know anything. So, but yeah, that was it really.
Nice, man. That's a nice report, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Appreciate you, Grant, in the UK.
Thanks. Yeah, man. Bye.
Take care. My English brother. Oh, you got me with a click. Guys, I'm out of time. Joel Friday TV is coming up next. I have to end at 5 till. That's why I end so early, guys. Rick in Hampton, Virginia wanted to talk about the Trump assassination attempt, this second one that came through, allegedly. I cannot get to you, Rick in Hampton, Virginia. Amy in Texas, I think, or I forget where. Amy hung up, but she wanted to talk about an update on that 8-year-old or whatever beauty pageant, third grader beauty pageant for her daughter, she and her husband's daughter. I cannot get to you guys, and I did see some, let's see. Oh, Lord, what did I just do? I did see these super chats that came in, but I don't have time to read them, but I'll show them to you briefly. Carver bought this coffee over here. And Popcorn Stump Cake gave a follow-up on here. And you guys, I will have to read those for you guys, to the audience later. If you're watching the video feed, you can read them now. But I got to get out of here, because Joel Friday is coming up next. Bye, guys. Adios.
Don't take the bait. You know they are fake. Just stop and wait. You could see the hate. There's no debate. Listen to Hake News.
Peace in the Middle East, or at least in your hearts. Bye.